bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than all of us.
Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not
We will bring the jury.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're doing commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican por his verbis Latino.
Is that correct?
I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
Literally not true.
Oh, for crumb's sake.
All right, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Yes, I'm early. I'm sorry, but I'm here. We have something to watch before court starts. We're going to be going back to Las Vegas for the Keefe D trial for the afternoon part of day 7. But before we do that, we have to see what happens in Judge Simpson's court. Little case we've been following for, better part of a year. A landlord and tenant who not only cannot communicate, cannot function if it involves the other person, period. It is going to be a wreck. Yes, our two favorite landlord-tenant individuals are back in Judge Simpson's court. We have that for you here right now. But before we do that, I have to give the internet away to Kill a Nap Time. Kill a Nap Time, congratulations. Love life. Welcome. I'm glad you don't change your profile picture so I know who you are. Your name changes have been frequent. But Kill a Nap Time, thank you very much. Internet ownership is yours. We are gifting you the internet because of your punctuality and promptness in chat. You were first, and now it's yours. Good riddance. Thank you. Good to have you here. Would not be the same without you. So now we have to jump up to Judge Simpson's court, and just to set the stage, here's what happened this morning. We had the grandma that threw the apple at the dog walker. We had that case going on. That's been set aside for a little bit, waiting for the criminal charges to decide if they're going to prosecute the grandma for throwing the apple or not. So that's on one side. While they were waiting to decide what the judge was going to do there, which the judge actually screwed up. He asked her questions of fact about her guilt after he was told that there was a criminal charge pending for this event, and now those statements can be used against her on the criminal trial. So a little bit of a mistake from the judge. But so he stepped in a little bit. But then we had the wedding. They just paused. The judge is off the bench. It looks like he's not busy. Somebody comes in. Another judge comes in. The bride and groom come down the aisle. We're watching a wedding. So we watched the wedding. We're going to pick up right after the judge came back and basically wrapped up and said, well, we'll put this on hold pending the criminal case. So that's where we're going to pick up, and then when Keefe gets back in court, we're going to jump there. So are you guys ready? Here we go. There's our apple throwing grandma, just leaving the courtroom. Judge is trying really hard to keep a straight face through all of this, not succeeding.
You may want to do that.
No. Correct. You can't walk up here. You got to go this way. No.
I think.
Yeah. Please don't approach the judge.
Oh, there's.
Keep going.
Mr. Allen just about had to tackle her.
It is.
Oh.
There's other people waiting up.
Oh.
Up to the judge.
I was going to give him an apple.
Shoot. Yes.
Oh. Thank you. I find all of you. Is it you? Thank you, Paula.
She wanted a little hands-on time with Mr. Allen, I guess.
That's a good one. Be safe.
Yes. Bye.
Oh, dear Lord Jesus, she had with taste. I didn't want to scream because I didn't know what you had. So the thing I liked is she's 84 and she beat you up here. No, I'm kidding. that I did not expect. And she started coming like toward, and I thought she was just making room to turn around, and then she just. Oh no! 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 she, I'll just say this: she operates on her own. She didn't need my directions. Lori Anderson versus Armani Line.
All right, here's our case. Ready? So that's the groundwork for this case. Lori Anderson. There's our landlord with her lawyer.
Oh, she heard something.
The lawyer's a new addition to this case. They were sort of pro se.
Oh, okay.
For the longest time.
Counsel, state your appearance.
Technically, it's good afternoon, Your Honor. Brian Ricochet.
You didn't say good morning.
On behalf of the plaintiff.
That was awkward.
Okay, where are we on this case? The last time I sent you guys away, somebody was going to come through and inspect.
There was an inspection done. The landlord has attempted to remedy the issues, but she was not granted admittance into the property with her contractor. Your Honor, if I may, I think one of the things we might be able to do is if we went in chambers, just you, I, and Ms. Lyman.
If I can get away from my client.
I think that might be a way to move things along. I did attempt to speak with Ms. Lyman, asked her if she wanted to speak in the hall, and she declined. But I think with Your Honor present, we might actually have some discussion.
Well, and I realize, I think you're new coming into this council, right? There was a list of repairs that needed to be done. And there was supposed to be admittance for the contractor to come in and complete those repairs. Was that not done?
Well, the plaintiff who is hiring the contractor needed to see what the contractor wanted to do. And she was not allowed admittance to do anything. The contractor, did provide some estimates, but she hasn't actually been in the property in order to direct the contractor.
Yes.
I told her the contractor can come in, that she doesn't need to be. She canceled the appointment because I said that she couldn't come in.
Okay. And counsel, I'm not just saying no to talking to the parties. Usually I like to, but in this case, I don't know if that's going to work. All right.
I leave it up to your discretion, Your Honor.
Because I can't. So here's the problem. Why did your client feel she needed to go in? Because I can tell you right now, that was going to cause a huge problem.
And
whether it be a legitimate response or not, that was going to be Miss Lyman's response. That she couldn't come in. The contractor could. Did the contractor go in?
I was not there, so.
But she also had the other contractor CC'd in the email where she said she was going to find another one. She had the same guy and somebody else in there as well. Trying to go in her soul.
We're not going to be able to finish
so
this before
the
KTD
big
starts.
issue is the lease itself allows for the landlord to enter the property. If Ms. Lyman didn't want to be there at that time, then that would have been fine. But the lease says what it says.
So I know it says what it says. I also know, having dealt with these two for almost a year,
we've got all this.
That ain't going to happen. Apologize to my mother for using that language, but it's just not going to. It will not work. And I believe what I ordered at the last hearing, that the contractor was to go in and effectuate the repairs, because we had a whole argument over who the contractor was going to be. So,
And my understanding is the contractor refused to go in without the person who hired him going in with him to see what he was going to do.
Oh, man.
so here we are. We can't even get a contractor in to fix the point in the basement. All right. So your contractor won't enter without you. You don't want her in the premises, right?
Correct.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. Each of you are going to get to the court a list of 3 contractors. If you agree on those contractors, that's the person that's going to go in and do the repairs. If you don't, then I'm going to choose from either one of the list. And they're going to go in and they're going to effectuate the repairs. Yes, Miss Anderson.
Cost is an issue for me.
Okay, except that we can't get into the unit to do anything.
Could at least we get a photo of the basement so I can tell the contractor this is what you need to do? He doesn't want to go in blind, not knowing what to do. That's all. I said I don't.
There's a list that was provided by the township of what needs to be done. And it's the basement, which is really the issue. And so I think we can get a contractor, go in and make the repairs in the basement.
Without me and just hopefully get.
Because you could have done that before. I don't think you need to be there. Well, you know what? I don't think you need to be there. So when are we going to do this? When? No, because I can't let you 2 leave without a date, because then it never happens. Well, do you know if he's available?
Wednesday or Thursday.
Of this week. Miss Lyman. 26th or 27th?
26.
The Thursday. What time? Go call him. Find out the time.
And Your Honor, just so that I have information.
Yes, sir.
Is the only thing being repaired the basement issue, or everything on the township's list for rental? And
my understanding was that everything was done except for a switch outside. It was done already in the basement. Your client at the last hearing was indicated it's a receptacle, I think, actually outside. She was going to take care of that. And then it was just the basement issue. Lyman, that was your understanding, correct?
Yes.
So I can verify that with the client.
Okay, I would like to do that because
right, there's a whole list of items.
For the inspection report, yes.
Correct. And my understanding is the parties at least agreed on that everything was done except the outside receptacle and.
Okay.
I did the outside receptacle already myself.
Okay. Good. And that's what the receptacle outside, your client was going to take care of, and it was just the basement.
He's not answering his phone, sir, but he did tell me Wednesday or Thursday. I mean, I can make it Thursday. I'll make it Thursday.
I don't know if he can. I'm not, look, I've been through enough of these hearings. I'm not leaving here till I have a date and time. I have the date. I need a time that he's going to be there so that I can hold each of you accountable if something goes wrong.
Deal with this first.
So I'll just sit here. Go ahead, make another call. Find him. Off record. I don't need to be on.
Okay, so they go off record for just a little bit. Now we're going to pause for just a minute. I've got it saved, so we'll pause. We're going to go to Keefe D now. We'll catch the rest of it the next break. There's a couple minutes more. But Keefe, just coming in from
We're
court.
on record in State versus Davis,
This is
C-377-407. Anything that we need to address outside the presence of the jurors?
Not from the state.
Okay. And we have Mr. Ladd
Yes.
ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, we don't have to delay for him. Perfect. All right, we'll get the jurors lined up and we'll bring them in. They are lined up? Okay, perfect. And just so I'm aware, 1 o'clock tomorrow is the plan?
Yes.
Short day tomorrow.
I think this is our last witness for today. I don't know how long it's going to take, but last
Okay.
witness for today.
So once I have them recess after this witness, we'll tell them to come back at 1 p.m. tomorrow.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
And are we still starting noon on Thursday?
That's the idea. If you guys are ready
What?
at that time. So you guys can talk about it and let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect.
Let me check the schedule again. That's a change, I think. It's the 25th. The 26th was supposed to be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then noon on Thursday. So, we'll see. She'll tell us what it is. Why does Keefe D have 4 deputies? That's his entourage. That's his people now. It's his clique. The homies.
Stand for the jury.
So the party stipulate to the presence of the jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you may all be seated. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you liked lunch. We are still in the state's case in chief. Mr. Palal, you're standing up, so I assume you're calling your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. State
Okay.
calls Robert Ladd.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Robert Ladd, RobertLadd.
You may proceed, Mr. Palal.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Ladd.
How you doing, sir?
Sir, can you tell us a little bit about your employment?
Yes, I'm retired now, but I was a police officer for 32 years.
Where did you start your career?
I started in 1983 when I was hired by the city of Compton.
And
City of
what was your
Compton.
initial position with the city of Compton?
A patrol officer.
And then did you change positions at some point?
Yes, when I was a patrol officer for several years, and that really was my beginning introduction into the world of the Crips and Bloods, because most of the radio calls that we got in Compton revolved around gang activity. So I got to learn there, the way they dressed, the territories.
Well, teach
how
us
to
your
read
ways.
graffiti. And then in 1988, I was promoted to the gang unit.
And for our edification, how big is Compton?
Compton's a 10 square mile city. It had a population of 100,000 people, and we had 55 active gangs in this little 10 square mile city.
55.
Is it fair to say that most of the gangs were affiliated either with the Crips or Blood or Mob and various subsets of those types of groups?
Yes, it was basically Crips, Pyrus, and Hispanic gangs.
Okay.
Mr. Palal, you've reminded me that this may be a good time to read the Tavares instruction.
You're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to hear testimony regarding drug trafficking, conspiracy, federal convictions, as well as gang affiliation. These are not offered to show the defendant's propensity to commit crime or any other improper purpose, and you may not consider it for those purposes. It is only offered to establish the credibility of his prior statement, the statements made by defendant, motive, and identity. You may proceed, Mr. Palal.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, and then tell us a little bit about your career in terms of, you said in 1983 you became a patrol officer and you were patrolling Compton, which had you responding to a lot of gang-related calls. Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
And then you ultimately go to the gang unit, is that correct?
Yes.
And were you assigned a partner?
Yes, my partner was Tim Brennan.
And then who was the lieutenant in charge of the gang unit at the time?
Lieutenant Reggie Wright Sr.
During your time as a gang detective, did you also respond to a lot of gang activity in Compton?
Yes, when I got into the gang unit in 1988, Compton was a very violent city. We were averaging 70 to 80 homicides a year and hundreds of shootings. So my responsibilities now were to investigate all gang-related crimes, gather intelligence, and photograph and identify gang members. And I also went out on a daily basis and tried to contact gang members and talk to them when I arrested them. And also I tried to talk to them out in the field so I could kind of build a rapport with these gang members out there.
By arresting them?
Okay, so I mean, you'll have to forgive me, but when I think of a officer or detective rolling through Compton and trying to start up a conversation with a gang member, it seems weird to me that the gang member would want to interact with you at all. Like, how did you develop that rapport?
Well, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes several years. You just gotta treat them fair, and you have to talk to them like you'd want to be talked to. And we didn't sweat them on the small stuff. We let patrol kind of do that. For instance, if they were out there just drinking some beer or smoking some marijuana or whatever, we'd come up and we'd talk to them and say, man, we're not going to sweat you on that
pass,
stuff.
homie.
So over time they say, all right, this guy's pretty cool, we'll talk to him.
And then your partner, Tim Brennan, he ultimately was given a nickname Blondie, is that right?
Yes, DJ Quick wrote an underground song about it, and it was called Blondie. So everybody in Compton knew my partner as Blondie. He kind of became famous over it.
Can you tell me a little bit about any type of gang training that you've given as somebody who has dealt with Bloods and Crips in Compton specifically?
Yes, it was from 2001 to about 2010 that my partner Tim and I, we taught at many national seminars right here in Vegas and in California also. And this is where thousands of police officers come from all over the country as well as around the world to learn about the Crips and Bloods. And so we taught them about that.
You had mentioned that in a city as small as 100,000 people, you would have somewhere between 50 to 60 or more homicides a year and then additional hundreds of shootings. Can you tell us a little bit about that, about the volume of these types of cases? Were they mostly gang-related shootings and homicides?
Most of them were, yes. And in 1993, I was promoted to gang homicide detective and started handling all the gang homicides, too. I did this till the year 2000. And so I spent 12 straight years in the gang unit. And during that time, I handled hundreds of homicide cases and thousands of shootings. And I actually talked to thousands of gang members, and I got to know really the way they talk, the way they think, the way they act, basically their overall mentality about gang life in general.
I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the difficulties associated with investigating gang cases. As somebody who did hundreds of investigations and homicides and thousands of shootings, did gang cases in particular present investigatory problems?
Absolutely. Gang cases, they're the hardest to solve. especially in Compton, because there's a code out in the street where you're not supposed to talk to the police, you're not supposed to go to court, or you get labeled a snitch. And the other problems that we have is that the good citizens that actually see what happened and want to come forward, they're afraid to. They get intimidated by these gangsters, and so they're really hard. We really don't have any witnesses, so we kind of rely on a lot of informants to get our information out there in the streets.
And then you mentioned relying on informants, but is it fair to say that if somebody wants to, if a case needs to be prosecuted or brought to court, somebody can't remain a confidential, reliable informant? They actually have to reveal who they are.
That's true.
And as part of your investigating homicides and shootings, was that a problem to get people to come forward and testify as opposed to giving you information on background?
Yes, it's very difficult because when they come to court, if you can get them to come to court, they don't want to get involved. They don't want to say anything, so they're not cooperating. So.
And you said being labeled a snitch was something that was frowned upon. In your training and experience, were there any other types of consequences for people who are labeled snitches in Compton, California, in gang life?
Absolutely. These guys take the code very seriously, and if you get labeled a snitch, it's probably the worst thing that can happen to you as a gang member. You're probably going to have to leave the state if you want to get survive. If you don't want to get severely beaten down all the way up to getting murdered. So they take it very seriously.
Now, I'm going to ask you now about gang in particular. I'm going to ask you about I'm going to ask you about the Southside Compton Crips. During your time in Compton, California, were you familiar with the Southside Compton Crips?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell us a little bit about the Southside Compton Crips?
Yes, the Southside Crips, they're located in the southeast portion of our city, and they're one of our larger gangs. It's probably a half mile in every direction. There was an excess of 100 documented active gang members at the time, and they identified themselves by wearing the color blue. So when you contacted a Southside Crip member, he's going to have something blue on, a blue shoestrings, a blue rag, anything blue identifies him with being a Crip gang member. And also the Southside Crip members adopted the Seattle Mariners baseball cap. It's a blue cap, it had an S on it, and to them the S stood for Southside Crips.
Now, I'm going to direct your attention to specifically the mid-90s, 1995, 1996. Were you familiar with somebody by the name of Duane Davis?
Yes.
Were you aware, was he somebody that was a high-ranking person in that gang or a low-ranking person in that gang?
Well, as high as you can get, yeah.
Now, what are the different levels of gangsters in Southside, or just general gangs? Are there different levels?
Yes, there's definitely a hierarchy within the black gangs in Compton. There's really 3 phases that these guys go through. The first phase is the BG, or baby gangster phase. And this is the time when they're just joining a gang, and usually, most of the time, not all the time, they get jumped in. And by getting jumped in, you have to show how tough you are. So it probably lasts about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, where 5, 6, 7 gang members are going to try to beat this guy up, and he's got to fight with them to show how tough he is. And if he passes, he gets to join the gang. And these are the ages between 12, 13 to 15 and 16. And this is the beginning stages, so they're out there doing low-level crime, such as graffiti, selling drugs for the older gang members, and being lookouts.
And then is there a level above that?
Yeah, the next level we call the gangster phase, and that's from the ages from 15 to 16 to about 25 or 26. Now this is a stage where these guys do the most violence. They're the ones out there that are committing the drive-by shootings and murders and robberies and carjacking. What they're trying to do is they're trying to earn their stripes for the gang so they can get kind of respect within the gang. So this is the most violent time for these gangsters.
And then is there another level in the hierarchy?
Yes, the last level is
OG.
ages 25 to 26 on up. And these are the guys that, a lot of them went to prison during their gangster phase, and a lot of them are getting older now, and they put in the work. They call it earning their stripes within the gang. They're getting their respect. Now they're the older gangsters. And these guys become the leaders or shot callers of the gang. And they tell the younger officers what to do. And again, they take this very seriously. If the older OGs tell younger gangsters what to do, they do it without hesitation. If they don't, there's going to be severe consequences. I've seen all the way from severe beatdowns all the way up to murder.
Right. Now, in that hierarchy, so we have baby gangsters, just, what was the middle one called? Just gangsters?
Just gangsters.
Gangsters, and then like OGs. Did you happen to know in the mid-'90s where Duane Davis stood in that hierarchy?
Yes, he was a shot caller.
Your Honor, may we approach?
You may.
Wanted to be a baller and a shot caller with 28 rims on his Impala. Yeah. May we approach? May we approach? It's going to take a long. No, it's a short one. It's a short one.
All right, so you're saying that Mr. Davis was a shot caller within the Southside Compton Crips.
Absolutely, yes.
And what does that mean?
Well, he could tell the younger gangsters what to do, and if they don't listen, like I just said, there's going to be severe consequences. The younger gang members are supposed to do what they're told without hesitation.
Now, were you aware of whether or not Mr. Davis was a narcotics trafficker?
Yes, he was definitely a high-level narcotics dealer. Compton, we were a small city, and we didn't have the manpower or the resources to go after a major narcotics dealer like Mr. Davis. But during my time in the gang unit, we were approached by two different agencies, the FBI task force, really, the DEA and FBI task force, and they would come to us because they wanted information on Mr. Davis's fellow gang members who he hung around with. And basically they would tell us that he's trafficking narcotics across the United States all the way to the East Coast.
Now, I want to talk a little bit more about Mr. Davis. Would you see him sometimes in Compton?
Yes, many, many times I've seen Mr. Davis.
And can you, do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you please point him out and identify an article of clothing he's wearing?
Yeah, he's a male black sitting at the end of the table wearing it.
Finally, we find out which one TPD is. No, just kidding.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the identification of the defendant in this case?
It will.
All right, and how would Mr. Davis dress in normal, like, gangster attire, like you were talking about before, or would he dress differently?
No, in his later years after he became the leader, whenever I'd see him, he'd be nicely dressed. Have the brim hat on, and he wouldn't have anything gangster-like on. He was always well-dressed.
I'm going to ask you now about somebody by the name of Orlando Anderson. Were you familiar with Mr. Anderson?
Yes, I was very familiar with Mr. Anderson. I had many, many contacts with him.
Okay, and can you tell us how you first became aware of Mr. Anderson's involvement in gang activity, if such activity existed?
Yes, I guess you could say I was there for his initiation into the gang. My partner Tim Brennan and I, we were at a fast food restaurant getting something to eat, and we're in the drive-thru. And this particular restaurant was right adjacent to Southside Crip territory. And there's an alley that runs just adjacent to it. So as we got our food, and we were driving out of the fast food restaurant, and all of a sudden we heard a barrage of shots. We can hear them hitting our car. I heard about 5 or 6 shots, right? So after the shots stopped, we looked at each other, jumped out of the car, made sure we were all right, and we ran to where the shots were coming from. And witnesses were pointing down the street, and I saw 3 male blacks running down towards a known gang hangout. So these guys ran in there. We called the troops. We subsequently arrested Orlando Anderson and 2 other people, and during their interviews they said that was part of their initiation. They didn't have to be jumped in if they tried to kill me and my partner. So they were automatically in the gang, and Orlando Anderson wasn't the shooter during this incident.
I thought you had their respect.
Was not.
Okay. Now, were you familiar? Well, did Orlando Anderson, to your knowledge, have any relation to Duane Davis?
Yes, we found out that it was Orlando Anderson was Keefe's nephew. I'm sorry.
That's fine. And Keefe is what Mr. Davis went by?
Yeah, Keefe D.
Yeah, Keefe D. Is that kind of how you're used to referring to Mr. Davis?
Yes, I kind of know him by their nicknames, really.
Okay. And then, were you also familiar with somebody by the name of Terrence Bubble Up Brown?
Yes. Had many contacts with Mr. Brown. He was kind of an older gangster, call him a wobbler. I still considered him in the gangster phase, but he kind of was a little older too.
And I guess in the mid-'90s, what phase or what level would you say Orlando Anderson was?
Definitely gangster phase.
And then, did he go by any nicknames that you're aware of, Orlando Anderson?
Yes, Baby Lane.
And then, were you familiar with somebody by the name of DeAndre Smith?
Yes, DeAndre Smith, many contacts with him. Again, admitted to me, he's a Southside Crip member. His nickname was Big Dre.
Why was he called Big Dre?
Because he was a big man, and he was like 6'4", probably 300 pounds. He was a big guy.
Were you also familiar with a gang called Mob Piru?
Yes.
Can you tell us about Mob Piru?
Yes, they're a gang in the city of Compton, and they're located in the northeast portion of our city. Their gang used to be called the Looters Park Piru. That was their territory. In about 1975 or 76, a group of kids over there wanted to start their own gang and have their own territory, so they started at Mob Piru, which stands for Members of Bloods. Now, their area is probably a quarter mile in each direction, and there's probably 45 to 50 active gang members in this gang. Also, and they identified themselves by wearing the color red. So, and just like the Crips wore anything blue, the Pirus or Bloods wear everything red.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the flare-up between Mob Piru and Southside Crips, but even before any of the music or any of the particular 1990s issues that we're here to discuss, would it be fair to say that Mob Piru and Southside Crips were natural rivals?
Yes, the Bloods and Crips never got along since they originated way back in the early 70s. They're kind of like just natural enemies because one wears red and one wears blue.
Got to fight somebody over.
Were you familiar with whether or not Mob Piru associated with any particular record label in the mid-'90s?
Yes, Death Row Records.
And do you know who ran Death Row Records at the time?
Yes, Suge Knight.
And were you familiar with Suge Knight prior to his ascension in Death Row Records?
Yeah, we had contact with him before, but not many, because he really wasn't a gang member. He didn't really hang out, but he grew up in that neighborhood.
I'm going to ask you about some of the people that you would associate with the Mob Piru. Earlier, I think now it's last week, we met with somebody named James McDonald. Are you familiar with James McDonald?
Yes, very.
Do you recall what his nickname was?
Yes, Mob James.
Now, would you go to the McDonald house in Mob Piru territory?
Yes, Mob James's house was kind of like the main hangout for the Mob Piru, Looters Park Piru. He had two younger brothers, Buntry and Timmy Rue. So this was the main hangout for the Mob Pirus, and we would go there. If you wanted to find a Mob Piru, that's the first place you'd look. So we had many run-ins at this Mob James house.
And were you familiar with somebody by the name of Trayvon Lane?
Yes.
And States Exhibit 60? Do you recognize the person depicted in States Exhibit 60?
Yes, that's Trayvon Lane. His nickname's Trey, and he's a member of the Mob Piru.
Are you familiar with somebody by the name of Roger Williams?
Why does it look like an autopsy
yes,
photo?
I am. His nickname is Neckbone, and he's also a member of the Mob Piru.
No, actually, I think I skipped something with Trayvon Lane. You had talked about the 3 levels of being a gangster. What level would you say Trayvon Lane was in the mid-90s?
Gangster.
Okay, so like the middle, most violent level.
Yes.
And then with in the mid-90s, what level was Roger Williams?
Definitely gangster.
In the mid-90s, what level was Mob James McDonald?
I would consider him an OG.
And then in, you'd mentioned Buntry. Is that Alton McDonald?
Yes, it is.
And in the mid-90s, what level would you describe him?
Gangster.
And then are you, now in that neighborhood, same neighborhood, there was a person that lived there or grew up there named Reggie Wright Jr. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Were you familiar with Reggie Wright Jr.?
Very, yes.
And when you say very, how are you familiar with Reggie Wright Jr.?
Well, he used to work at the Compton Police Department. He was a jailer, and then he went to be a full-time police officer, I think, in around 1988. He was only there for like 5 years because he got injured and had to retire.
Now, I'm going to ask you something, I guess, culturally about gang life. How important is one's reputation in the gang world?
Very. It's these guys live for respect. That's how they live their lives.
And then, if somebody felt as though they were disrespected, what would you expect them to do?
They have to retaliate. If a gang member is disrespected, they have to retaliate, or they're considered a punk out in the streets. And if you get considered a punk out in the streets, you kind of lose your respect and credibility.
And what's the consequence of losing your respect and credibility in the streets?
Well,
nobody buys from you.
I mean, no, you're going to be nothing in that game, really.
And then, we talked about the hundreds of murders that you've investigated and the thousands of shootings you've investigated. Was retaliation, in your experience, ever a motive for those shootings or murders?
Yes. I've investigated like 1,000 crimes, and I would say 90% of them are because of disrespect. And so when you get disrespected as a gang member, you can expect some sort of retaliation.
Now, you had heard gathering intelligence about this Lakewood Mall incident. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
But you weren't there, were you?
No.
And just so we're all clear, Lakewood Mall, is that in Compton?
No, it's several miles out of Compton.
And so that wouldn't be something for you to investigate?
No.
But as a gang expert and a gang investigator, what to you is the significance of somebody trying to rip off a gang member's chain?
Well, it's definitely disrespect, especially the chain that they were trying to take at the Lakewood Mall. It was a highly prized medallion, and these guys wore it like a badge of honor. So them try to steal this chain and beat up this subject, it would be a major display of disrespect. So now this guy's got to go back to the Mob Piru and Death Row Records and tell them what happened. So the next time they see each other, it's going to be on site. As soon as they see each other, some confrontation is going to happen.
And you had said that we're talking about the chain. We're talking about that death row chain. Is that right?
Yes.
And you had mentioned that they were wearing it with great pride. By they, who are you talking about?
The entourage of Suge Knight. That's Trayvon Lane. Well, back in '95, Suge Knight gave these out as Christmas presents to his entourage, like just, Trayvon, Neckbone, Buntree. They gave one to Reggie Wright Jr. So not too many people had him at this time. So it was a prized possession to these guys.
Now, I'm going to take you forward to September 7th of 1996. You're aware you become aware of a shooting that occurs out here in Las Vegas, September 7th, 1996. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How do you become aware of the shooting that occurred here on September 7th, 1996?
Well, I was at home, and I get a call from my boss, who's Reggie Wright Sr., and he tells me that, hey, Suge Knight and Tupac were just shot. Tupac's in critical condition, and get ready because it's coming back to Compton. He told me that they thought the Southside Crips were responsible for the shooting.
And so when he's telling you this, do you now have to have a response to this, or why is he telling you specifically to get ready?
Because when you disrespect and shoot the biggest rap mogul on the planet and the biggest rap star on the planet, and he surrounds himself with the Mob Piru, then there's going to be some sort of retaliation. And all these guys were from Compton. So when they got back to Compton, we expected a war.
And was there a war?
There definitely was a war.
Can you tell us about that? So in the immediate aftermath of the Tupac Shakur shooting, did you notice an uptick in violence in Compton?
Yes, 2 days after Tupac was shot was our first shooting. One of the OGs was at a store on Alondra Boulevard in Compton, and he was shot in the back several times, and a 10-year-old little girl got caught in a crossfire, and she was hit, and she was in critical condition. And the guy that was shot was a Southside Crip member, and again, he was a shot caller for the Southside Crips. His name was Darnell Brim.
Okay, and we've heard Darnell Brim's name before here, but was Darnell Brim part of the same subgroup of the Southside Crips as Duane Davis?
No, he was a Southside Crip gang member like they all were, but there was two factions of it. There was a group called the Burrs Crew, which Mr. Davis ran, and then there was a Glencoe crew that Darnell Brim ran.
And is it fair to say that at some point there was a conflict between the two groups that caused the factionalization?
Yes, they used to be one big happy family, but there was a disagreement over drugs, or some drugs were stolen from one of the Burrs Crew members, and that's when they split apart. They start fighting with each other, and they split apart into two different factions.
Now, in your understanding of gang culture, would Mob Piru, if they're seeking retaliation, would they be discerning about which crew or which part of the Southside Compton Crips they were shooting at, or would it just be you find a Southside Crip and then you start shooting?
Yeah, they don't care. When they go hunting for somebody, they don't care which faction he's from. If he's a Southside Crip member, or they're going to go after him.
Now, certainly that wasn't the only shooting that occurred in the immediate aftermath of the Tupac Shakur shooting. Is that correct?
That's correct. We had 3 murders and 10 attempted murder drive-by shootings that happened within a 10-day period in Compton.
And is that when, and were those shootings going back and forth related to Mob Piru and Southside Crips?
Yes.
So, I mean, you had mentioned earlier, there's 53 or 50 plus gangs in this 10 square mile radius. But during this particular heightened sense of violence, what was happening was the shooting back and forth between Mob Piru and Southside Crips.
Yes, but basically what it told me as a gang investigator right after the first shooting of Darnell Brim, to me, there was no doubt in my mind that the Southside Crips were responsible because the Mob Piru had to retaliate, and they had 54 other gangs to choose from, but they went right after the Southside Crips. So there's no doubt in my mind who was responsible for shooting.
It's who they thought was responsible.
Now, as a result of this, in October, do you and your partner Tim Brennan put together a multi-house search warrant?
That is correct.
And what was the purpose of this search warrant?
Well, we had two purposes, really. One, there was a war in the city of Compton, and innocent people were getting shot as well as gang members, and so we wanted to put a stop to that. So by hitting houses on both sides, both the Pirus and the Crips, and we wanted to quell the violence and try to stop it. The other reason was we wanted to try to help Las Vegas PD with their investigation of the shooting of Tupac and Shakur.
And when you said you wanted to help the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in their investigation of who shot Tupac and Shakur, can you elaborate more on how you believe this search warrant might help Metro in its investigation?
Yes, the way we handle gang-related homicides is when we did these search warrants, we'd find a reason, hopefully, to arrest them. We'd find guns or narcotics in their house, and then we'd bring them down to the station. So you would have all the players that were involved, like that we were heard about that was involved in the shooting of Tupac Shakur. So we rounded them all up, and hopefully Las Vegas PD would come down and try to interview them, try to get one of them to cop out, or to try to put them in Las Vegas, whatever they want to do on their investigation of the murder. We rounded up all the people for them, so that's how we helped them.
So the search warrant served two purposes. You have an active war going on, and you're trying to slow the violence in Compton, but you're also thinking, well, maybe we can get some of the folks who we think might be involved in the Tupac shooting to start talking as well.
Correct.
Did Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department send detectives out here for that purpose? Or out there for that purpose?
Yes, they sent 2 detectives.
Now, with regards to the search warrant itself, were a number of firearms recovered as well?
Yes.
And was part of the goal that maybe not only just take the guns off the street for the Compton war, but was there a hope that maybe the firearm for the Tupac Shakur murder might be recovered as well?
That's correct also.
It's fair to say that that did not happen.
That's correct.
You know, I'm actually going to approach with State's proposed exhibit number 161.
You may.
You are free to move around the courtroom.
I'm showing you what's proposed State's exhibit number 161.
I got to get my glasses on.
No problem.
Bless you. That's 3.
Okay.
That's all I got is 3, the guy says. 3 bless yous.
Do you recognize what's in what State's proposed exhibit 161 is?
Yes, it's a search warrant.
And can you open it up and look through it? Do you recognize the search warrant?
Yes, I do. It was a search warrant that we prepared, well, Tim wrote after the Tupac shooting.
And was it, did you assist him in the investigation that led up to the search warrant?
Yes.
And did you assist him in giving him the information in order to get the probable cause?
Definitely, yes.
And then did you also assist in executing that search warrant?
Yes.
Now, State's going to move State's proposed exhibit 161 to evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Snap?
No objection.
So admitted.
Now, there's been some allegation that the Compton Police Department was only focused on the Southside Crips when it came to trying to stop this war and stop this violence. Is it fair to say that among the houses that were searched included a large number of Mob Piru houses along with Southside Crips houses?
Yes, definitely. We hit many houses on both sides.
And is it fair to say that is a total of 38 residences that were looked into?
Yes.
And to include members of Mob Piru and Southside Compton Crips?
Yes.
Now, permission to approach, Your Honor?
No.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as States Exhibits 162 and 163. Do you recognize what these are?
Yes.
What are they?
These are evidence that we collected at the scene.
Okay. And without going into the addresses, is it fair to say that these were evidence that were collected from Duane Davis's house and Duane Davis's family's house?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to move States Exhibits 162 and 163 to evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
So admitted.
Okay, I'm going to first turn your attention to States Exhibit 162. Can you finish that?
Yeah, you just want me to avoid the address, though, right? Don't say the address. Avoid the address. Maybe take it off.
Jessica, maybe take it off me while it comes up, so we can avoid the address itself.
Don't say the address.
What page do you want?
The fourth page, please.
Thanks, Josh. Take a look.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. Can you do the second page first?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so this is the first address we're going to talk about here. And again, we're not going to go into what the actual address is, but do you recognize the people that are listed that were located at the address?
Yes.
And fair to say they were members of Mr. Davis's family?
Yes.
Now I'm going to turn your attention to the next page.
Hello.
And under
This is a good one. Thanks.
On line number 5, do you see what's listed there as the receipt?
Yes.
And line number 5 is one hotel's receipt. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then line number 6 is one Compton Municipal Court subpoena. Is that correct?
Yes.
Then I'm going to show you States Exhibits 163, if we can take it off us for a second.
Give me half a second here. Sorry, can we approach? I think you just got to show it to him, Mr. Blah. I don't think we can put it up.
Okay.
This is what it says.
So I'm showing you page 3 of States Exhibit 163. Can you tell us what this document actually is?
Yeah, it's a receipt for property taken.
And then it actually mentions who is taking some of the property here, doesn't it?
Yes.
And who's that?
Myself.
Okay. And then one is a letter from the Excalibur Casino, is that correct?
Yes.
And then the other is an envelope addressed to Orlando Anderson, is that correct?
Yes.
And then the third is miscellaneous bills addressed to Orlando Anderson as well, is that correct?
Yes.
And all these 3 items were collected by you, is that fair to say?
Yes.
So from Mr. Davis's home, and well, we'll start with 163. We have from Mr. Anderson's home, we have a receipt from the Excalibur. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then and is part of the reason why you're collecting that receipt is because it's relevant to the investigation as to who shot Mr. Shakur?
Yes, we thought it might be significant that it showed that Mr. Davis was in Las Vegas at the time of the shooting.
I guess in this one's Mr. Anderson, correct?
Yeah.
And then from Mr. Davis's house, there's also a receipt, a hotel receipt that was collected. Is that fair?
Yes.
So they have evidence that put him there. They've got him in Vegas now.
Yeah, I'm going to approach. I'm going to show you states 160. And we're not going to talk about the addresses specifically, but the two addresses attributed to Mr. Anderson and Mr. Davis. One is at the top, and then one is at the bottom with a red dot. Is that correct?
Yes.
It's fair to say that they are very close to each other.
Yes.
I'm going to move 160 to evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
So admitted.
So Mr. Anderson, was he one of the people that was caught up during the search warrants, this 38 house search warrant?
Yes.
And was Mr. Davis around during the 38 house search warrant?
No, we couldn't locate him.
So you were able to locate Mr. Anderson, but Mr. Davis was just not around.
Correct.
And you don't know why or how that is.
That's correct.
But with regards to Mr. Anderson, it's fair to say Mr. Anderson at that point is a person of interest, at least, in the shooting of Mr. Shakur.
Definitely, yes.
And then at that point, do you make him available for questioning with Detective Becker from LVMPD?
Yes.
And does Mr. Becker make an attempt to question Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
And did any useful or relevant information come out during the course of that questioning?
Not that I was aware of.
Now, let's fast forward a little bit. You were aware that 6 months later, Christopher Wallace, also known as the Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, he was killed in Los Angeles. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, was that in the Compton area?
No.
And so, were you responsible for the investigation into Christopher Wallace?
No.
But did you end up assisting the LAPD in trying to execute search warrants in an attempt to gather information on the murder of Christopher Wallace?
Yes.
And why were you the person, or you and Mr. Brennan the person that LAPD would ask for assistance?
Because we knew who all the players were, and we told them at the time that they had a little internal feud going with each other, and we were getting ready to do search warrants on them.
So you were getting ready to... They were having an internal feud. Is it fair to say that the 1997 search warrant served a dual purpose in a similar way that the 1996 search warrant served?
Yes.
So, like in 1996, you have a war between Mob Piru and Southside Crips, and you're also trying to see if you can get any information related to the Tupac Shakur murder. Is that fair?
Correct. Yes.
And then in 1997, you had mentioned that there was an internal feud that had gotten violent. Is it fair to say that the Burris Street crew and the Glencoe Street crew on the Southside Compton Crips, that they had started engaged in their own violent feud?
Yes, definitely.
And as a result, and at that same time, there was some question as to whether or not members of the Southside Crips may be involved in the murder of Christopher Wallace.
Correct.
And so, were those two goals, or those two functions, part of the reason or the basis for executing the search warrants?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to show you what's been previously admitted as State's Exhibit 136. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 136?
Yes, this is a search warrant we did on.
And we're not going to talk about addresses by agreement, but it's a search you did on a different house from the houses that you did in 1996. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this is a different residence that was associated with Mr. Davis. Is that fair?
Yes.
Page 4 of 136.
It's not actually on 36, but it is. Just give me a second.
In court's indulgence, Your Honor, we're just pulling that up.
Sure.
Jessica, you can hold on me.
And Mr. DiGiacomo, do you mind zooming in a little bit?
Yeah, figure out how to make the zoom.
Hey, just a quick reminder. You challenge the mods, you can find another channel to watch. I don't put up with that.
Oh, that didn't work. Let's see if the Zoom tool's not working.
I've got an issue. I've got a burner phone. You can reach out to me directly.
But I want to show you page 4 of 136. It's still up there on the screen as well. On page 4, we have another receipt of property taken. Is that right?
Yes.
And on line 4, what do we have?
Let's see. A money due bill for the Monte Carlo Casino.
Now, in relation to this search warrant as well as the other search warrant, really you can only take property that would be related to the investigation, correct?
Correct.
So, like, if I couldn't take just any random property just because I have a search warrant, can I?
No.
You have to take things that are related to the actual search warrant.
Correct.
Now, I am going to ask you, did you spend, you said you had worked at Compton till about, actually, let me rephrase. How long did you work at the city of Compton for?
From 1983 to 2001. I'm sorry, 2000.
Okay. Is it fair to say that at some point the Compton Police Department got swallowed up by the LA Sheriff's Office?
Yes.
And did you stay with? Did you sign on to the LA Sheriff's Office after that?
Yes.
Do you recall approximately how many of the Compton police officers stayed with the LA Sheriff's Office? Okay.
Go ahead if you want.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I don't want it to be like yesterday where we keep on interrupting each other. And do you recall how many of the Compton police officers were hired on by the LA Sheriff's Office when LA Sheriff's Office took over Compton Police Department?
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact number. I think there was like 103 of us, and I think all but 2 were hired by the Sheriff's Department.
That's a lot.
Now, you ultimately left the LA Sheriff's Office, is that correct?
Yes.
And then where did you go to work after that?
I lateraled over to an agency, Garden Grove PD in Orange County.
Probably a little bit safer than the Compton Police Department.
You could say that, yes. It was still a busy city, but it wasn't nothing like Compton.
And then during that time period is when you started giving talks with Detective Brennan regarding your experience working blood and Crip gangs in Compton.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that Detective Brennan is no longer with us?
Yes, he passed away of cancer several years ago.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. You know, I'd forgotten about one of the murders I wanted to talk, or one of the shootings I wanted to talk to you about during the war that escalated immediately after the shooting of Tupac Shakur. So I'm going back a little bit, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
Back to Cali.
One of the people that was shot was a man by the name of Bobby Finch. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Bobby Finch was actually killed on September 11th. Is that fair?
Yes.
Did Where did Bobby Finch live in relation to Corey Edwards?
Next door.
Was Bobby Finch a gang member?
No.
Was Corey Edwards a gang member?
Yes.
And what gang did he belong to?
Southside Crips.
And do Bobby Finch and Corey Edwards look alike?
Yes, they did.
Steel pass the witness.
Doppelgangers?
Does anyone need to use the restroom before we get into cross? Seeing no hands, Mr. Stamp. Oh. You're good? You're good? Restroom. Okay, perfect.
I
All
could-
right. During this recess, you're admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial of any person connected with this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, the internet, and radio, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected with the trial until the case is submitted to you. We'll have you guys back here at, let's say, 2:15. Please rise for the jury.
Man, I would be scared to wear a shirt with logos or anything in it in court. I'm surprised what this judge lets slide. How long is our break, Judge? Do you have enough time to finish our little hearing with the landlord and tenant?
For the record, the jury has exited the room. We'll be in recess.
Yes, I think we do. I think we have time. All right, let's do that. Let's jump back over to the landlord-tenant case. We had a little at the beginning of this live stream, right before the afternoon session started. We played part of what happened in Judge Simpson's courtroom today with a landlord and tenant that historically have not been able to get along. Let's jump back over there and catch the tail end of this. And maybe we'll have time to talk about a little new document that just dropped in the Tyler Robinson case. Thank you, Josh, for finding that for us, where Tyler Robinson is once again getting in a fight with the media. But we'll go to court here for a second. The judge just sent the landlord out, said, I'm not leaving here until you make a phone call. I need to know the date that the contractor is going to show up. We're not going to leave here until I know this date. Let's see, I'm going to zip ahead a tiny bit. Whoa. There we go.
All right.
That was fast.
So, Ms. Anderson, it's Thursday morning. What time? Okay. You hear that? And he's to be permitted admittance to the premises. He's to go into the premises without Miss Anderson. And it really is just the basement.
Miss
Yes,
Anderson. Yes.
Now, is it the intention that once he goes down there that you're going to authorize the repairs?
Yes. I mean, yes, sir.
All right.
I mean, yes.
So those repairs then need to be done. I'm not.
Well, he was going to do it right then, sir. He was going to come to the repair the same day.
Okay. Mr. Lyman, if he goes in with a camera, you're going to permit him to go in with a camera so that he can take a picture of whatever repairs he's doing, and also so that he can send those to Miss Anderson in terms of authorizing. So I don't want him to get back here and hear you say he was walking around with the camera and doing whatever. Understood? Then I would expect those repairs to be done. And if it's done, then the question becomes, when can Pittsfield get over next to inspect? So if you expect that the repairs are going to be done this Thursday, when's my next Tuesday? September.
Mark
All
your
right.
calendar.
Then I'll adjourn this out to September 15th, 2026 at 9. The intention for the court at that proceeding is, 1, to verify that the repairs have been done, and 2, to then, because you guys can't seem to make the appointment with Pittsfield either, the court will be calling Pittsfield and setting an appointment for their inspection. Understood?
Clear as mud, Judge. Thank you.
Your Honor, if
Yes, sir.
I can ask, I know, well, my understanding, I don't know because I haven't seen an order, but my understanding is that the court ordered payments of rent to be placed into escrow. And has that happened?
That was on, well.
That's a great
It's
question,
a little bit more
Mr.
complicated
Attorney.
because your client tends to file.
That I understand, Your Honor. That's why I'm asking very specific questions.
Right. And so as part of that, she also sent an email to us. I did not act on it because she's represented by an attorney that she wanted the non-payment dismissed.
The other one I want to dismiss.
And Ms. Anderson, that's why you have attorneys.
Yes, sir.
Talk it over with them, then they would communicate to the court and do it in the proper way. In any event, I did nothing with that because I just said, I don't think she knows what she's talking about. So I just left it. In the other case, how much do we have in escrow?
$3,300 in escrow
That's not very much.
from July.
That is correct. I have a July payment of $3,300. So she is not up to date on the escrow.
Which means you owe August and you're about to owe September.
Ms. Lyman, when are you going to get August in?
You have 33 in by the beginning of next.
Okay, and if that's the case, then September will be due. When is September going to turn in?
September.
Okay.
$3,300 a month in
So
rent.
in that file, defendant to pay August escrow. You can have that in the first week. I'm going to make it due by September 4th. That's Friday.
For our 800
Then
square
September escrow.
It's got 15 rooms.
Said mid that month.
It might. I think it is a
Is
huge
it
house.
it's 2 weeks out is what you're looking at?
Is
So
she
the
subleasing
18th.
it?
That's a Friday as well.
It's a Friday. 2 weeks from the other one.
Your Honor, just for convenience, could we make that due on the 15th so that when we're here?
She's not going to have a pay.
Okay.
That's the issue.
Fair enough.
So. All right. And then, and both of these then are adjourned to, what did I say? September 15th, 2026, 9 a.m.
So it's not done yet, but it might be resolved. I'm guessing September 15th. The repairs will probably be done. We'll have to figure out when the town can come and inspect it so this can actually become a legal rental situation. And I think we'll probably still
Will there
have
be a
some-
written order or I just need to keep it in my head?
You want to prepare a written order? I'll sign off on it.
Not necessary, Your Honor. I want to save the trees and
Yes, understood. All right. And just as a cautionary note, because you guys don't act with any rationality sometimes. So if he comes there on the 27th, the intent is to have the repairs completed on that date. And Ms. Lyman, if he has to leave, he or she has to leave to get some material because he doesn't have it to complete the repair, you're to let them back in.
Of course.
Yeah, you say that to me now, but you guys don't act that way. All right? Yes.
May I, since I have to pay the gentleman, may I wait on the corner? I've not met this repairman.
Wait on what corner?
Well, I can't come in. Can I wait outside so I can pay the young man for doing the work?
He'll have your cell phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. Because the problem is, you two get into any proximity to each other without the court around, bad things happen or nothing happens at all. All right.
Thank you. All right, that's where we are. Now we're back from break. He sums up this case so well. Oh man, it was a doozy. All right, we're back. We're back waiting for the return of Keefe D in this second part of day 7, and we have on the stand right now an expert, former competent police officer who understood gangs inside and out. Talked to thousands of them, gained respect a little bit by them, got good rapport with them. So he didn't sweat the small stuff, busted them for a little, a joint or something like that, or, out after a curfew or whatever the small thing was. Apparently didn't have enough prestige or respect in the gang to prevent the gang from trying to kill him, to initiate some new pledges or new gangsters, baby gangsters. But he talks a good talk here, so we'll see what we've already had. The defense has already tested the waters in this area, even though they haven't started cross-examination yet. We already know that defense wants to talk about the corruption in Compton, and the state is trying to get out ahead of that. Before defense can get up and say, you guys are so corrupt, they had to shut down the whole police station. Before they can have that conversation, the state gets up and says, now you know that there was a point when Compton Police Department was absorbed into the sheriff's, LA Sheriff's Office. And he's like, yeah, we all moved over except for like 2 of us, like hundreds of people moved over. It was just a seamless transition, and everything was fine, and there were no problems. That's the contrary testimony to the corruption and the newspaper articles and the stories and the drama that occurred with the city council at that time as they got shut down, which claims corruption. And it looks bad. Looks bad when Reggie White Jr. has his dad on the force, and then he's got those close ties with the Death Row Records. So, yeah. All right. Before we begin, we've just got a moment, I think, before they come back. Let me just say that there is a new document that dropped in the Tyler Robinson trial out of Utah. Tyler Robinson is protesting or objecting to KUTV Channel 2 in Salt Lake, the great channel. We've worked with them many times in the past. KUTV has notified the court that they would like to be the pool media outlet for the upcoming hearing, which is the preliminary hearing ruling, I believe. Let me see if I can find it here. That's the wrong one. It is the September 1st hearing, which I believe is when the judge is going to give the ruling on the preliminary hearing. We've already had like the arguments back and forth, and we've had the closings in written form back and forth, and now he's objecting to this. And it was filed August 17th, so it's in plenty of time. And he's saying it's against Mr. Robinson's right to a fair trial. And they also says that Mr. Robinson has a constitutional right to a fair trial, but there's no constitutional right for the media. At least there's no right to electronic media coverage. So I guess the freedom of the press is not included in the EMC. So yes, I don't read them either unless you let me know. But thank you, Josh. It's so much easier to find an email document than to transfer it from a mod chat, which gets buried 6 seconds after it's posted, to my computer and then where it needs to go. But we'll probably read this document tomorrow, the Tyler Robinson document tomorrow. It's only 5 pages long, and it's the same fight over again. He's upset, saying this is the process. He's actually objecting to the process that is the court has put in place for him to object to media coverage. This process has given him more opportunities to object to media coverage than any other trial I have ever heard of, where every single hearing individually has its own process and hearing to allow coverage by the media. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. He's mostly just mad that he can't appeal to the Supreme Court on every decision before it happens. So I think it's a waste of the paper it's written on, in my mind. But his lawyers are trying. They're definitely trying. All right. It looks like they're going to come back right now. So just the heads up. Part of this, as part of applying for media coverage for this.
Davis C-377-407. Anything we need to address outside the presence before we bring the jury in?
Top of the state. No, you're not.
Okay, let's bring him in.
One of my agreements with Nevada is that I have a couple second delay. That's why I often know when they're coming back before they come back, because I can see it a couple seconds before you can. In case something needs to be cut, we have the ability to cut before it gets too bad.
After jury.
I actually have four different audios I can listen to on this. I also have another one on replay, so in case I want to cut back to it and see what just happened, I can do that as well.
Did the party stipulate to the presence of the jury?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
You may be seated. All right, we're on cross, so whenever you're ready, Mr. Stamp, you may proceed.
Mr. Duane, welcome to Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Now, during your time in Compton, seems like it was a pretty colorful time where you were there.
Very active, yes.
There's a movie called, I think, End of Watch. Have you ever watched that movie?
No.
Okay. Have you ever watched any movies at all
Can we
from
watch
that
it now?
time period? Like, say, I don't know what there was out there. Any of the LAPD movies during that time period? Have you ever watched any of those?
You have to be more specific.
I know. And I'm trying to figure out there's another one out there besides End of Watch. But you share basically your experience working as a Compton police officer to the time you started working as a detective for gangs in a book that you wrote.
Yes.
And that book is called and entitled Once Upon a Time in Compton, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you do write this book in addition to Timothy Brennan, your partner.
Yes.
Now, in the book, I've read the book, and when you guys are working together as a team, it's Tim and Bob, right? In the book, you guys, Tim and Bob, we did this. Tim and Bob, we did that, right?
Yes.
Now, the book itself, as you created the book, fair to say that was a book that I would think that you would be proud of, the work that you put into the book.
Yes.
And in terms of the book itself, you could sit here basically as you're talking with us and this jury today, that the book is accurate in terms of what you recall during that time period, right?
Yes.
And you would have taken great pains to make sure that book was accurate before it was published.
Yes.
Meaning, for instance, if you read something in the book that wasn't accurate and it wasn't published yet, you would make a note to either tell Tim or this other lady, I think her name is Lolita, that, hey, this isn't quite right, I don't remember that, and there would be some discussion, maybe changing or something, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in order for you to write the book, and I think you published this book in 2017?
Correct.
That was, and you started working for Compton in what year?
1983.
So, and you start off in the book from 1983 on in terms of your experience working as a police officer in Compton, as well as Tim's experience working as a police officer in Compton, right?
Yes.
did you, I would imagine you would have used notes and that kind of thing to help refresh your recollection and help remind you of certain events, certain cases, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, because in the book, for instance, there's a lot of different people you run into. And there's a lot of different scenarios you run into as well, right?
Yes. Most of it was based off our memories, but
yeah.
Like for the search warrant or whatever, we could go back to a search warrant and look at that to refresh our memories.
Right.
Most of the stories are just from my memory.
Yeah, and fair to say, of course, it's also Tim's memory as well. So something that you would remember, he would remember, and vice versa, and you go, oh yeah, I remember this now, and you would say, oh yeah, I remember that now, right?
Yes.
So part of the book, in essence, really is it's a team book between you and Tim and Lolita writing the book for you.
It's a collaboration. Yeah.
Collaboration. Okay. Now, did you write any of the book yourself?
Basically we got Lolita Files to write the book, and we told the story to her.
Right, and so
she actually wrote it, but it's our story.
Right, and Lolita, meaning that this was an experienced writer that you recall, right, before she wrote the book?
Absolutely.
And when she wrote the book, can you tell us a little bit about Lolita, who she was as a writer?
Yeah, she had several books that were published prior to that, and she was very up on the hip-hop scene. So when we got together, and we kind of just clicked, and we collaborated to write the book.
And in terms of her background and so forth, did she go to school for that?
I'm not sure.
All right. And was she working as a journalist or a writer prior to you meeting her to write this book?
Yes.
Now, in addition to that, throughout the course of the book, you do put pictures in here, and pictures of you with darker hair and less of a goatee and more of a, looks like actually one without a picture of no facial expression whatsoever. It's a picture of you as a young police officer. Now, the purpose for these pictures in your book is really to help establish some of the things that were happening during that time period, so the reader could see visually what was going on, right?
Correct.
Now, in addition to that, in the book, you had put as well, and the book, the picture, bless you, the picture that I was looking at is this picture right here. You recall this picture?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and once again, it's just to show your experience while you were being a police officer in Compton, right?
Yes.
Now, in addition to that, though, you do put in the back of your book some documents that were documents that you used in furtherance of your job as a detective at some point, right?
I don't really understand that question.
Meaning, for instance, in the back of your book, you do put in here a map of the Compton area gangs, for instance.
Yes.
You also put in here, and the Compton area gangs for the jury, we're talking just to highlight how compact of an area the city of Compton was and how many different areas was claimed by different types of gangs. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. In addition to that, you also have included in here the affidavit, the search warrant that we just talked about before, right? This 40-area search warrant.
Yes.
You put that in the book as well.
Yes.
And just for the jury's edification here, for instance, none of the information in here is redacted, meaning it's not taken out by a black mark or anything like that, right?
Correct.
All right. And I'm not trying to get anybody in position here to be in trouble, but in essence, the book and the information that's in here was readily available for anyone who wanted to buy and read it.
Correct.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, did you have a publisher on this?
At the beginning, we did, yes.
Okay. And what do you mean at the beginning?
Well, it was a publishing company, and we kind of had a little conflict with them, so we decided to leave them and self-publish.
I see. And so with Lolita's help, once the book was finalized and you and Tim both felt good about the finished product with Lolita, then you just published it yourself?
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, you just go to Amazon Books, and it kind of just runs you through it. It's kind of a complex system that you have to do certain things. I mean, I didn't really do it, so I can't really tell you the exact steps because I'm not very good on the computer. I know how to turn them off and I know how to turn them on.
But let me ask you this in terms of what was happening with Amazon. Once you submitted it to Amazon, Amazon becomes a platform that sells the book.
Yes.
And so if someone's interested in the book, they just look it up and they click and they buy the book.
Correct.
Now, at some point, though, as they're buying the book, you receive a record as to how many people have purchased the book, right?
Yes.
And how much money you and Tim and Lolita would potentially be making for the sale of each book.
Correct.
Now, in this case, for instance, with the sale of each book, I would imagine Amazon would have taken a pretty big chunk of the proceeds from the sale of each book.
Yes. You don't make much money.
Yeah. And so even though you're selling, and with regards to Once Upon a Time in Compton, can you tell us how many of these books that you sold?
No.
Okay. I'm assuming at some point you did receive a check.
Yeah.
Okay. But not something that you could retire on.
Oh, definitely not.
Okay. And in terms of your books, do you remember how much they cost, how much you were selling them for?
I thought it was $15.99, but I'm not positive on that.
Okay. Right. Now, one of the things that's in your book as well is you had, there was a part of the book where you had identified a MGM Grand ticket to the Tyson Seldon fight. Do you recall that particular image in your book?
I think it was, yeah, we recovered that out of Suge Knight's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with regard to that, if I show you, let me just do this quick here. Your Honor, if I could approach and ask the clerk to mark this as proposed exhibit next in order.
Okay. What is the next order, Jess? B.
DD.
She'll put it on there. Is it B? B?
DD.
Okay, got it. It'll be omitted.
Thank you.
Oh, was there any objection? I apologize.
I just need to say it first.
Oh.
No objection.
So admitted.
May I put you on?
You may.
Do you recall this particular image in your book, sir? Showing you what's been marked as BB?
Yeah, it looks like it, yes.
Okay, and that was a ticket stub, it looks like, to the Seldon Tyson fight
Yes.
on September 7th, 1996.
Yes.
And that ticket stub was located in Suge Knight's house.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Option for the jury here so they can see. Do you recall when Suge Knight's house was searched?
The day that I think it was October 2nd, well, the day we served all 38 search warrants.
I see. And so his house was one of the houses that you were searching to basically try to quell any potential violence in Compton as well as gather information.
Yes.
Now, with regard to this particular ticket, though, because it was captured, there was an understanding between all the police officers conducting all the searches at the same time that you were looking for information leading to the murder of Tupac that had occurred in September.
Yes.
So, with regard to this ticket, for instance, because it was the Seldon Tyson fight on the night of Tupac's murder, this ticket was obtained by you or kept in evidence as part of your investigation.
It wasn't part of our investigation, though. It was for Las Vegas PD.
Right. So let's get a little bit into that. So, and I want to make sure that the jury understands. So, in terms of the actual murder investigation itself, that was the jurisdiction of Las Vegas Metro.
Yes.
And so, which I guess is difficult here, right? Because potentially everyone that's a potential suspect in the Las Vegas murder potentially would have been residing in Compton, right?
Not necessarily, but most of them did.
Yeah. And so on this particular day, when you're out executing the search warrant with all the different locations, you had invited the detectives that were assigned to the Metro homicide investigation here to come out to Compton to be present so that they could interview people if they wanted to.
Correct.
All right. And so this particular piece of information would have been something that they would have been interested in, I would assume.
Yes.
All right. Now, we talked a little bit about what was also found, and you had indicated that there were some receipts, some hotel receipts that were located. Where did I put that? Oh. I think the state had already presented this to the jury. What was the last exhibit you guys put up for that?
It's 161 and 162. It's just, that's the entire return for all locations.
Yeah.
The two are up there.
Okay. Sir, what you were showing earlier in terms of the affidavits in this case, thank you. Fair to say that the size of the affidavits that were shown to you, and once again, this is for the state, or for the jury's edification, State's Exhibit 161. This particular affidavit was actually a lot bigger, right?
What do you mean by that?
Does the size of the affidavit
Meaning,
matter?
for instance, that you were targeting some 38 houses, which means that each house had its own paperwork attached to it, which would have made this document a lot bigger than what this document is right now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And then with regards to the document, we're targeting or focusing on the first item here. Looks like was a let's see here, in State's Exhibit number 162, there was a reference here to a hotel receipt, right?
Yes.
Now, the property report here that we're looking at on 162, which I will show, this is the property report that we referred to earlier, right?
Yes.
And the hotel receipt that's on there is one of the items that was taken from this particular property, right?
Yes.
Do you have that receipt?
No.
So unlike for instance, the Suge Knight ticket indicating that there was a fight and so forth in Las Vegas, September 7th, 1996, this indicates that there was something taken, and that would have been that hotel's receipt, but you don't have it here.
Correct.
Do you have it? Do you know where its location is at all?
No.
Now, in addition to that, you also, in one of the other homes, had indicated that there was a letter from the Excalibur Casino and so forth. I'm going to show you this document here. This is State's Exhibit 163.
How many people get letters from the casino?
And just for the jury's edification here.
So
it looks like here on number 1, this would have been the receipt of property taken, correct?
Correct.
And underneath it here, number 1 would show a letter from Excalibur Casino addressed to Orlando Anderson, right?
Yes.
All right. Do you know the date of this particular document?
It would have had to be the same day of the search warrant.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the letter itself.
Oh, no.
Okay. And do you have a copy of that letter?
I do not know.
All right. Do you know where that letter is?
No.
All right. The next part here looks like there's an envelope addressed to, once again, Orlando Anderson. And with regards to this particular document, do you have any indication of where that document is?
No, it's booked into property. So.
Right. And that's the same thing with number 3 on miscellaneous bills addressed to Orlando Anderson, right?
Yes.
None of these documents are addressed directly to Mr. Duane Davis, correct?
Yes.
And once again, when you are searching and finding something like, for instance, the Suge Knight ticket, that document is carefully taken from the scene and put into evidence in a way that would preserve the chain of custody of something like the ticket.
Correct.
Now, in this case, when you searched either the two residences in this case, did you find any indication at all? Any MGM grand ticket of being on the second row of the fight? Anything at all that would indicate that Mr. Davis was actually in Las Vegas?
No.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, we had talked a little bit about the second search warrant. And the second search warrant is this one here, State's Exhibit 136. Okay. Now, when a search warrant is executed in California, at the time it's executed, is it confidential or sealed?
Sometimes, yes.
In this particular case, with this particular search warrant, was this search warrant sealed?
Yes.
And was it sealed up until the time that the search had been conducted?
Yes.
Okay. When did this particular search warrant become unsealed?
I don't recall.
Okay. Fair to say, though, that if someone's charged in a crime based upon search warrants that are sealed, that search warrant would then be available for the defense to look at?
Yes.
And it would be unsealed at that point?
Yes.
And that would be the same, of course, with the search warrant that occurred at the beginning of October the year before, right?
Correct.
So in this case, with this particular search warrant here, this is dated as of May 27th, 1997. On this particular one here, you had indicated the following. This is on page 4 of this document. The information that I think we're most interested in is line 4 of that document, right?
Yes.
Meaning that, once again, these are items that were taken from this home, and those items were put into your property or evidence locker.
Correct.
And number 4 is a money due bill from the Monte Carlo casino. Right? Can you tell us the date of what this money due bill was for?
No.
All right. And once again, your search in this particular regard was actually May of 1997, right? Quite a few months after the September 7th, 1996 shooting.
Correct.
In addition to that, in terms of that money due, can you tell us, for instance, who that money due bill was addressed to?
No.
Okay. Now, there were some questions by the state on that issue about the fact that this was actually a search warrant investigating into the murder of Biggie Smalls. Remember that line of questioning from the state? But fair to say, of course, that even then, as you're conducting this kind of investigation, you are still thinking about the Tupac case, right?
For sure.
Yeah, you weren't just at that particular point forgetting that the Tupac murder even occurred. You're still thinking during that time period, if you run across something you think is relevant, you would have identified it, right?
Correct.
In addition to that, though, you would have identified it, you would have called Metro to say, hey, by the way, we got something there that will help you with the Tupac murder investigation. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. There's no reason why you wouldn't have done that?
Not that I know of, no.
Now, we talked a little bit about the size of some of the people that were involved here. And I think, was it DeAndre Smith you said was a pretty big guy?
Yes.
All right. And you said he was like, what, 6'2", 6'3", and about 300 pounds, something like that, big guy?
About 6'4", 300 pounds.
Okay. Did he play any sports or anything as far as you know?
I think he did. I'm not positive what sport.
Now, are you aware of an individual by the name of Terrence Brown?
Yes.
And was Terrence Brown one of the individuals that was potentially a suspect in the Tupac murder?
Yes.
All right. Now, with regards to Terrence Brown, can you describe for us how, like, his size as well?
Yeah. He's approximately a little shorter than you, and just medium built.
So a good-looking guy. I'm sorry?
I don't know about that, but
So it's a little bit shorter than me and about my size.
Right.
Okay. Let's just put it down as I'm 6'2", so that's like I'm just kidding, 5'8" and something else. And then in terms of the at the time with Terrence Brown, you are aware that Terrence Brown actually dies in 2015.
Yes.
Right. And when he dies, do you know how he dies?
Yes.
How did he die?
He was at a marijuana dispensary in Compton, and a robbery occurred, and he got killed during the robbery.
So, based upon the way he was murdered in that case, no indication that that was some type of retaliation for the murder of Tupac in 1996 or 7?
No.
In addition to that, in 1996, I apologize. With regards to DeAndre Smith, do you know when he passed?
2004, and he died of medical complications.
Right. And as far as you know, nothing that would have been associated with any type of retribution or revenge for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Correct.
Now, Orlando is the one who passes away relatively quickly after the shooting.
Yes, approximately a year and a half.
Right. And in terms of how he passes, he was shot and killed?
Yes, you want me to tell you what happened?
Please.
Orlando Anderson was with his best friend Michael DeRoe. They were at a burger stand in Compton, and across the street from the burger stand there was a car wash. Orlando Anderson recognized the people at the car wash. There was 3 people sitting in the car, and he recognized one of them that owed him money for some narcotics that he didn't pay him for. So Orlando Anderson took it upon himself, and he initiated the confrontation. He drove up to the car, and he exited with a gun. However, one of the persons in the other car, they had a gun too, so they had a shootout at the car wash. And then when the smoke cleared, Orlando Anderson was killed during the shootout, as well as 2 other people in the other car were killed.
And in terms of the 2 other people in the other vehicle, were they both Crips?
Yes.
So it wasn't a blood-on-Crip sort of shootout?
No.
It was just over money and drugs?
Yes.
Now, we've had some discussion here about Darnell Brin. And you're familiar with Darnell Brin?
Yes.
And the way I'm understanding this is that within the Southside Crips, you had 2 different factions.
Correct.
You had the Glencoe faction with Darnell Brin.
Yes.
And then you had the Burr Street faction.
Correct.
Now, in terms of the 2 different factions that we have here, the Burr Street faction was a faction that was dealing with the drugs, mostly?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
In terms of the Burr Street faction, that they deal in drugs.
That was one of the things that they were involved in, yes.
Yeah. And in terms of the other faction, we talked a little bit about Darnell Brin. He was a shot caller.
Correct.
And he was a violent person.
He had the potential of being a violent person, yes.
Well, you recall in your book describing him as a very violent person?
I don't recall that, but if it's in there, it's what I said.
Okay. And once again, it would have been something that if it wasn't true in your book, you would have corrected it.
Yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't a violent person.
Yeah.
He definitely has the potential to be a violent person.
And isn't it fair to say, though, like even in your book, that you describe him as being someone that was implicated in some attempt murders, that kind of thing as well?
Absolutely.
Darnell Brin.
Yes.
Now, Darnell Brin is shot in the back how many days after the shooting of Tupac Shakur?
2.
And with regards to the shooting in the back, do you know who shot him in the back?
No.
Okay.
We were told it was Pyrus, though.
Right. And would that fall more into the idea of what you're saying about retaliation in this case?
Yes.
Now, there are other people that potentially were considered, I think including the initial investigation here, as being part of the Tupac murder. Do you recall a person by the name of Noel Spank Johnson?
Yes.
All right. And he is also a Southside Crip member, part of the Glen Cove crew.
Correct.
All right. Do you recall a person by the name of Jerry Monk Bond?
Yes.
All right. Once again, part of the Glen Cove crew.
Correct.
And then also Orlando Anderson.
Correct.
Okay. So those individuals at some point were considered to be potentially involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, when you had conducted the searches on Mr. Davis's home and the locations that we're at, did you ever find money?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No vast sums of money for somebody making 20% of $4 million a month?
No.
How about expensive clothes, like stuff that was worth, suits worth $6,000, anything like that?
I don't recall the clothing that was inside.
Yeah. But in terms of, just information about the individual's living conditions, for instance, did you find any expensive cars that he owned or anything like that, besides the lowriders and stuff that people put a lot of work into?
Well, them are expensive cars to me, so yes, we did.
And when you say lowriders, are we talking about lowriders here or BMWs?
Monte Carlos, hydraulics, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. And in terms of the Monte Carlos and the hydraulics, Mr. Davis was actually part of a what they call a lowrider club in Compton.
I wasn't aware of that.
Okay, you're not aware of. Let me ask this next question. But in terms of the vehicles we're talking about, they were not for Mercedes-Benz, BMW, nothing like that. They were just modified cars.
Correct.
Now, in addition to that, does your going back to your book, do you have anything in here like a disclaimer that says that, hey, we can't verify the truthfulness of the book at all?
I'm not sure.
All right. If you were just to review the book real quick, just to tell me if there is anything like that, would that help your recollection?
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't even know where to look.
It should be in the front because it would be a big warning.
Have you ever read your book?
No, there's nothing in there to that effect then.
Okay. And would it be... Have you ever read a guy by the name of Greg Kading's book, Murder Rap?
Some of it, yes.
Can you tell us who Greg Kading was?
He was an LAPD sergeant.
Okay. Did you have any interactions with him?
No.
Did he share in any investigation that you were involved in?
No.
Did your partner have any work with him?
Yes.
And the work that we're talking about is in the task force that was assigned to investigate the murder of Biggie Smalls.
Correct.
And he was part of Tim Brennan was part of that along with Mr. Kading.
Correct.
All right. Now, we had shared a little bit about the swallowing up of Compton PD by the LA Sheriff's Department.
Here it comes.
You call it swallowing up. I call it absorbed or whatever.
Right. Why was that?
Well, it would take, I could tell you in a couple of minutes, but it's really a 6-month long.
Maybe you could write it in a book and we could buy that.
But I can explain it to you if you want.
Well, I mean, obviously there's a lot of moving parts, right?
Yes.
The absorption or dismantling of a police department is a very unusual thing, right?
Yes.
And so in order for that to happen, if I can just cut right to the chase with you, was there corruption going on within the department that caused the absorption of the department back to the sheriff's department?
No.
Okay, then what was it that caused it?
It was the mayor, Omar Bradley, at the time, was being investigated by the FBI.
For what?
He found out that he was being investigated by the FBI, and he blamed our chief. Right, so what he did is he put our chief and a captain off on administrative leave, and he made some allegations of missing narcotics. Okay. Now,
define corruption again
these
for me.
guys were
'Cause this sounds like
30-year
it fits.
veterans with prestigious careers. Our department elected to do a vote of no confidence against the mayor.
And Senator Valorum.
And this really pissed the mayor off. And he went to the city council and they voted to bring in the sheriffs. And they never asked the citizens if that's what they wanted. He just did that upon himself. Now, there was a long investigation regarding the stolen narcotics, and our two captain and chief were exonerated. There's a 60-page report on it, and it was resulted in one Hispanic narcotic officer was taken to narcotics, and he was dealt with. So the bottom line is, we lost our police department, 112-year-old police department. Omar Bradley ends up getting arrested and convicted. So
for what?
Everybody lost here.
Yeah.
What was he
And
convicted
as a
of?
result of that, I think you told us earlier you didn't stay in the city of Compton anymore. You got reassigned to another city.
No, I stayed in the city of Compton for a year, and then I elected to go to another agency.
I see. All right. And then while you were there, the other thing that you did, and you shared with us a bit about the fact that you were very well versed in the gang culture in Compton, right?
Right.
And in terms of the well versed, meaning that you can identify and see patterns of behavior that would indicate to you maybe gang activity, for instance, right?
Yeah.
And that would also include how a person dresses. We talked a little about I apologize. Like, for instance, even like the way a person dresses.
He apologizes for his
right?
client
That would
coughing
help you
over the
determine
question.
Maybe potentially that person's associated with a type of gang.
Yes.
Like in this case.
No.
No? All right. But with regards to the way it's set up, though, is that, did you at any point ever determine that Tupac Shakur was a member of a gang?
No.
Why not?
Because he wasn't.
And when you say that, I mean, obviously he's associated with the mob, with the death row label.
Correct.
And he was also at that particular point hanging around with Suge Knight.
Correct.
And Suge Knight was an identified Mob Piru or an associate of the Mob Piru.
Correct.
As well as other people who were Mob Piru, like Mob James, for instance, that was in that association.
Yes. His entourage were all Mob Piru gang members.
Okay. But you're telling us right now that Tupac was not a gang member?
No.
Just because he was hanging around these people did not make him a gang member?
Correct.
Now, fair to say, of course, that even in the Death Row record label, there were actually Crips that were assigned, that were part of that label as well, right?
Yes.
That would have been Snoop Dogg?
Correct.
That would have been Dr. Dre?
I'm not sure about Dr. Dre.
How about, who's the other one that I'm thinking of? Is it Eazy?
He wasn't associated with that record label, I think. I don't think he was.
You tell me, because I'm just, I'm trying to figure it out. But fair to say, though, that within business, it wasn't about a color as much as it was about money, right? You're making money, and so you're not isolating one segment of the population from the other in terms of your product.
Correct.
Okay. Now, with regards to Mob James at that particular point, you had told us that you believed he was an OG at the time. Did Mob James have any indication for violence?
Potential to?
I never investigated him for any violence because he was in jail when I was, most of the time that I was in patrol and in the gang unit. And I don't know exactly when he got out, but when he got out, he was already older. And he didn't really hang out with the younger gangsters.
I see. And with regard to this retaliation thing we talked about, you said there was some concern that once the shots were fired and Tupac was hit, that there was concern that there was going to be some type of gang war back in Compton, right?
Yes.
Now, you shared with us a little bit how this worked. You were asleep in bed, and you get a call early morning from Reggie Wright Sr.?
I don't recall if I was asleep in bed, but I was at home.
Okay. And can you tell us what time that you received the call from Reggie Wright Sr.?
I don't recall. It was a long time ago.
Okay. But would it been still that evening or that night?
Yes.
Not the next morning or anything like that? And the reason why he would have called you is because he was your direct boss?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, you had also mentioned that this retaliation. The shootings that occur after, you have, is it Mr. Brim's was the first shot fired between the Maud Piru and the Southside Crips? Was he the first one shot?
Darnell?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then after Darnell, who was the next person shot?
I believe it was the next day at 713 North Bradfield. I believe 2 people were shot, and that's in Piru territory.
You know if they were Piru?
They were.
They were. And do you know who shot them?
No.
Right. Now, with regards to the Darnell Brim, do you know who shot him?
No.
Now, in terms of the 2 Piru that were shot the morning after Mr. Brim, do you know how the order was given out for these people to be shot?
No.
So no phone records, for instance, from Mr. Davis indicating that he wanted these people shot or anything like that?
Correct.
Now, after the 2 Piru were shot, what happened next?
I believe later on another person was shot at Pine and Bradfield in Maud Piru territory.
And was that person a Crip or a Blood?
The person that was shot was Piru affiliated, yes.
Okay, so 2 Pirus are shot that day, and then later on that day another Piru affiliate was shot?
Yes.
All right, and do you know if that was an order that was given out by anybody to shoot that Piru?
No.
Okay, and then the next Piru the next person shot after that was who?
I don't recall the name, but I believe it was the 80 something South Ward Street. And
Was
that's
that
in Crip territory?
And so that person was a Crip?
Yes.
All right, and that shot occurred when did that shooting occur?
I don't recall.
All right. And as far as you know, this is happening over the course of maybe
10 days.
There was 10 days. I think that was how it was framed. It was like it's a 10-day war in Compton.
Yes.
But fair to say it may have been a little bit longer, like maybe 13 days, right?
No.
Okay, let's say this. So if we go with 10 days in this, any proof at all that we can show this jury that Mr. Davis ordered any of the shootings to occur in this case?
No.
Now, in addition to that, the idea here behind the shootings, we go back to the Lakewood Mall incident, right?
Sure.
Is the Lakewood Mall incident, in your mind, the definitive act in which the war is now declared between the Maud Piru and the Southside Crips?
That was the first incident that sparked this whole back and forth thing. Yes.
Now, let me ask you this. Did it really happen?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in your book, you identify it as happening at the Lakewood Mall.
Yes.
And it happened in a Foot Locker.
Yes.
Now, do you have
Foot
any
Locker is a store,
indication
shoe
at all of a police report or a call for 911 to the area on a fight that occurs at the Lakewood Mall that day? No.
No.
Like
Do you
referee
have
strikes.
indication at all from the security people at the mall where they would have written up a report that said, hey, we had an altercation here at the Lakewood Mall?
I don't think a report was generated by the security officers, no.
Okay. Now, fair to say, of course, there's been some description of that brawl being the kind of brawl that actually required Foot Locker to redo their entire inside because it just destroyed the inside. You recall anything like that?
I never heard anything like that. I just know there was a fight at the Foot Locker.
Right, you heard there was a fight, but you never made any effort, for instance, and it's not your job because it's Lakewood, right?
Correct.
But in essence, no verification that even Foot Locker was contacted to say, hey, did a fight break out over here on this particular day? Nothing like that.
Don't recall.
So in essence, what we have right now is what you had heard from people on the street as to what happened at this Lakewood Mall incident, right?
Yes.
Now, some people, I would assume, thought that the shooting of Tupac was in retaliation, or maybe the fight of Tupac in Orlando was in retaliation to what happened at Lakewood Mall. But as you're sitting here right now, you don't have any actual proof of the Lakewood Mall incident actually occurred.
No.
Okay.
Just,
yeah. Now, in addition to that,
yeah, we know.
We had heard from you a little bit about. I'm sorry, I just have to make sure I got all my notes here. We talked a little bit about your identifying of a shot caller, right? Now, a shot caller is somebody who basically tells people what to do.
yes.
And you had said that the shot caller is somebody that if an order is given to one of the other lower people on the totem pole, they have to follow that order.
Correct.
All right. And in this particular regard, you don't know, for instance, what happened in Las Vegas, who did anything in terms of a shot call or anything like that, right?
I don't understand the question.
Meaning you don't have any proof for us today that says that, first of all, even if Kiki was in Las Vegas, right? You don't have any proof of that.
His own admission. I mean,
besides the admission, you don't have any actual physical evidence that supports that, right?
Correct.
And then in terms of his admission, did you ever verify what he was telling people to see what he was saying was true?
As far as what?
Being in Las Vegas.
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So in terms of the information that was given, you're just saying that because Mr. Davis was a drug dealer and maybe had provided money for the Southside Crips or something like that, that because of that, he is a leader in the Southside Crips.
Well, there's more to it than that.
Sure. But I just want to make sure I'm clear about something here. In terms of your investigation in this case, did Keefe ever order a hit on anybody before or after the shooting of Tupac Shakur?
Not that I know.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right. Redirect by Mr. Blah.
Yes. I'm going to start where Mr. Sam left off. So, Mr. Samt asked you if you had any proof that Mr. Davis was in Las Vegas at the time of the Tupac Shakur murder. And your response was, his admission. Is that fair to say?
Right.
Now, you have investigated hundreds of homicides. Is that right?
Correct.
Have you ever relied on a defendant's or suspect's admission to form a case?
Yes, sir.
In fact, in gang cases in particular, where witnesses are scared to come out, is a defendant's admission of committing a murder powerful evidence used to prosecute?
Yeah, that's basically that's how most of our gang crimes get solved, is by self-admission or incrimination.
Okay, and then
so if they just shut their mouth, they get away with it.
Mr. Samt asked you about you don't know that whether or not Mr. Davis ordered the hit. And to be fair, you weren't in the Cadillac, were you?
No.
Okay. But let's go through Mr. Samt's logic. You had said that Mr. Davis was a shot caller within the Southside Crips. Is that fair?
Yes.
And then let me pose this to you. If using Mr. Davis's admissions, if Mr. Brown, Terrence Brown, DeAndre Smith, and Orlando Anderson, and Mr. Davis are in a car, who is the leader in that car?
Mr. Davis.
Who is the shot caller in that car?
Mr. Davis.
And so if a shot is coming, if those four people are in a car, and shots are coming out of that, who has to give the authorization?
Mr. Davis.
Okay. So if Mr. Davis is in the Cadillac, he's the one calling that shot.
Absolutely. If he tells him not to do it, say, let's handle this back in Compton, they wouldn't have had a shooting. If he sanctioned it, then there'd be a shooting.
And Mr. Orlando Anderson, he was what you had called a gangster, right?
Absolutely.
So he would be the person that would have to listen to Mr. Davis.
Yes.
And so was it in your experience, knowing the roles of everybody in that vehicle, could Mr. Anderson shoot that gun with Mr. Davis in the car without Mr. Davis's permission?
No.
Sandy Graham, you are an OG.
Now let's talk about...
But in a good way. Congratulations on 22 months.
Your book. When was your book published?
2017.
Okay, so that would be well after Mr. Davis's proffer statement, correct?
Correct.
Be well after his 2009 statement to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department?
Correct.
And it might be contemporaneous, we don't know, to the time of his statement to the Death Row Chronicles.
Correct.
Regarding the, I want to talk a little bit about the LA Sheriff's Office absorbing the Compton Police Department. Is it fair to say that a function of that transfer was that some of the evidence that was retained from those search warrants just were, for lack of a better term, lost?
Yes. I mean, I didn't know it at the time. I mean, we just switched police departments, and they absorbed us, and they kind of were responsible for all the evidence, too. So I don't know what happened to it after we got absorbed by the Sheriff's Department.
Mr. Sanf mentioned Reggie Wright Sr. to you. Did Reggie Wright Sr. ever ask you to work on behalf of the mob pirates?
No.
Did you ever work on behalf of the mob pirates?
Never.
Okay. Talking about the Burris Street faction, Mr. Sanf mentioned that Mr. Sanf asked you some question about Southsiders. Darnell Brim was actually in conflict with this Burris Street crew. Is that fair?
Yes.
But Michael Giroux was a member of the Southside Compton Crips, the Burris Street crew. Is that fair?
Yes.
I think he went by a Little Owl. Is that right?
That is correct.
Were you aware that the court actually has taken judicial notice of the fact that Little Owl was actually in custody during the September 7th, 1996 murder of Tupac Shakur?
That is correct.
You're aware of that?
It'd be kind of hard for him to be the person responsible for the murder of Tupac Shakur. Okay.
You're aware the court took judicial notice?
Now, Orlando Anderson, he was also a member of the Burris Street crew. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And we talked about before, Corey Edwards was a member of the Southside Compton Crips Burris Street crew. Is that
yes.
Fair? Seal passes.
Read cross, Mr. Sand.
Just briefly.
We'll get a clean copy for you a little bit. I don't know.
Just a couple things, sir. In terms of the publication of your book, can you tell us, you said that was accurate, right?
Yes. Tried to be.
Focus.
Sorry?
I tried to be.
No, and it's fine. I'm not. We're not really going to knock it. I just want to know that at some point in here you do identify Mr. Davis as Keefe D. Correct?
Yes.
Do you recall the spelling of his name in the book?
No.
Do you recall how you spelt his name?
No.
Would review of your book help you in terms of how you spelt his name in the book?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a man who who spoke for 20 minutes to according to, this is my take on him. He spoke for a little bit of time with the ghostwriter. The ghostwriter did research and wrote the book. And I don't think this guy's ever read his own book.
Okay.
Okay. And just for the record, how did you spell his name in the book?
Keefe.
Right. And do you have any reason to doubt the accuracy of your spelling of his name?
I could be misspelled. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, but in terms of, for instance, I would imagine during the time period that that's not a usual name, Keefe.
No.
And you would have learned that name Keefe was more of a nickname.
Correct.
It wasn't his birth name, for instance.
Correct.
And in terms of that name itself, you would have had, like, say, for instance, field interview cards. If you ever ran across individuals, you would put their names down and maybe their monikers or their street names or their nicknames, for instance.
Correct.
Did you ever fill out a field interview card for Mr. Davis?
I don't think I ever did, no.
Yeah.
You are
and
OG.
once again, these field interview cards that you would have used are cards that would help law enforcement identify people that potentially are gang affiliated.
Yes, it does help, yes.
Yeah, and what usually would happen, I would assume, is that when you happen upon someone that you're speaking to and you identify him to be maybe a member of a gang, you would write out information about him, including his nickname and so forth, on a card that would help other law enforcement know whether or not they're affiliated with a gang or not.
Correct.
So in this particular regard, though, you being the detective for the gang unit in Compton, which according to your book was actually very small. At some point it starts out with you and Tim as being the main gang detectives in Compton.
Yes.
And so you had a lot of people to go through, but even then you don't recall ever filling out a field interview card identifying him as a gang member.
No, but he self-admitted it to me. I mean, we go out there, that's all. I see the same people every day because Compton's such a small city. So every time I saw someone, if I stopped and filled out a field card, that's all I'd be doing. So I talk to these guys and they self-admit to me. They tell me their nicknames.
Yeah.
So
And
that's what happened with Mr. Davis and I.
And fair to say once again, this is a form of keeping records, right? Is that if you ever have a police officer who's not with your same knowledge and experience on those streets, they could look at those field interview cards to help them determine who Mr. Davis is, right?
That's correct.
No further questions, John?
Any redirect?
Yes, sir.
Redirect, actually.
With regards to Mr. Davis, did he ever hide the fact that he was a member of the Southside Compton Crips?
No.
Was he actually quite open and proud of the fact that he was a member of the Southside Compton Crips?
Objection to that speculation and description.
Okay, I'll actually rephrase.
Okay,
Did
so
Mr. Davis evince behavior that made you believe that Mr. Davis was proud of being a member of the Southside Compton Crips?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, did he ever hide being a member of the Southside Compton Crips?
No, whenever I would see Mr. Davis, he'd always be in the company of other Southside Crips, too.
And did he ever self-identify as a member of the Southside Compton?
Yes.
Is that it for you, Mr. Poole?
Yes.
Anything else, Mr. Stamp?
No, no.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for this witness? Okay, we have a few.
We have a few questions. We'll hold tight for a minute while we figure out what they are and if we can ask them. Mute the mics for a second while they come up and talk it over. Juror questions. Question number 1. Have you read your book? Did you read your book? I agree. That's a funny question. I think they should ask it. It's not relevant, but maybe after all the questions we've had about it, it's become relevant. Yeah, who sings the 20-inch blades on the Impala? Shot Kala. Who sings that one? Question to be clear: Tupac was or was not in the gang? Don't you have something on your little card, on your little sheet, that you indicate when somebody is known to affiliate with gang members? And if everybody he hung out with was a gang member, at what point do you start, just counting it? Say, you must. It's not like you have, 20 ducks in a row and one monkey. You don't have, 6 zebras and a walrus. They run together. I don't know, the walrus and the zebras might happen. It's more likely. They opened the door to this. He was just a top earner. Like Keefe D, he sort of just, he got in because he was, he had the cash. I think that's what he's upset about, is no one will sell him anything, so he can't start his business back up because they think he's a narc. They think he ratted people out. They don't trust him. He used to be rich. He used to be moving 200 keys, 300 keys, a third of a ton of cocaine every month, moving it all around the country. And now his former suppliers are like, nope, no thank you. We'll pass. We don't need to sell to you. It's all right. I was around a lot of people in gangs by virtue of where I was at points in the 90s, but I've never been in a gang. But you would be a gang affiliated then. You don't have to be a gang member to be have that affiliation.
All right,
tag,
a couple questions. You got a lot of questions. Why is Tupac not seen as a mob pyro while in company of other members, but Mr. Davis is?
There's my question.
Well, there's nothing that documented Tupac as a pyro. Now, he associated with them, but he didn't live their lifestyle. He was a rapper. He did show some allegiance to the mob pyro. However, he wasn't active. He wasn't out in the streets gang banging or whatever. He was this rap mogul, and I think he liked that lifestyle.
Okay. From what you have observed regarding Reggie Wright Jr., would he have been considered affiliated or in connection with mob pyro or any other gangs?
No. Reggie was the head of security for Death Row Records, and he was actively employed, and the difference is the entourage, they were paid by Suge Knight, but they played a different role. Reggie could carry a firearm like the rest of the people that he employed, but the entourage, not saying they didn't carry firearms, but they couldn't do it legally. So there's a big difference there.
Is it fair to assume there wouldn't need to be orders from Mr. Davis for members of the Crips to carry out retaliatory shootings, considering there was an active war between mob pyro in the South Side following the shooting of Tupac? In other words, is the order implied even if the shot caller does not explicitly say shoot?
Yes, if the shot caller is not there, then gang members are going to do what they do. If they're going to go out hunting, they're going to go out and shoot, even though it might not be sanctioned by a shot caller. But if he's present, they're most likely they're going to do what Mr. Davis tells them to do. But if he's not present, then they're going to do what they do.
Did Orlando get permission to have that shootout at the car wash, seeing that he was a gangster and not an OG?
No, it's like I said, Mr. Davis wasn't there. These guys are gangsters, and when they confront somebody, I mean, it's on. It's going to be on. He doesn't need to be sanctioned by Mr. Davis. Now, if he does something wrong, and when he gets back, if he brings heat on the neighborhood or whatever for doing something stupid, then he'll be disciplined for it. So when they're out in the street gangbanging, it's a whole different story because Mr. Davis is not present.
Did the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department ask Compton PD to help them with the murder investigations at the time that Compton searched homes on both sides, or was that something you took your own initiative?
We took the initiative to ask them to come down, and once they were down here, they never asked us for help.
Okay. Any follow-up based on that, Mr. Palal?
Yes, Your Honor. With regards to the distinction of whether Mr. Shakur or Mr. Wright were gang members, is it fair to say that you don't become a gang member by hanging around other gang members?
That's correct.
And you had mentioned earlier that you had to put in some work in order to become a gang member.
Yeah, you have to live that life in order to be considered mob pirate.
And with regards to putting in work, what are some activities that one does? Not specific to mob or Southside, but just in the gang culture. What type of work do you have to put in order to be considered actually a gang member as opposed to a guy who hangs around gang members?
You're going to be out there being active, doing drive-by shootings, getting in fight with other gang members, carjacking, anything that's going to get you some respect within the gang. They're going to be out there doing it.
So you had mentioned acts of violence, primarily shooting. Is that
Yes.
fair? In fact, that's how you had mentioned how Orlando Anderson got put on is by being part of a group that shot at you. Is that fair?
That's correct.
And then you would also, with being part of the narcotics trade, and I guess that's too of a lawyerly word to say, selling drugs, is that one of the ways that you get considered putting in work to become a member of a gang?
Yes.
And as long as that money is going towards the gang?
Yes, because money made from the sale of narcotics is the lifeline of every gang in Compton. So the money that they get from selling narcotics, of course they buy more drugs, they buy more weapons, but most of these guys don't work. So the money made from the sales of narcotics, they buy cars, they pay their rent, everything that they do is generated from the sales of narcotics, the money made from that.
And so while Mr. Shakur or Mr. Wright Jr. may have been around the mob Pyru, is there anything to suggest that they were putting in work to become members of the mob Pyru?
Definitely not.
And let's contrast that with Mr. Davis. Was it, in your observation, training, and experience with Mr. Davis, engaged in the narcotic sale for the purpose of benefiting the Southside Compton criminals?
Absolutely.
So pass the witness.
So none of the
any questions?
None of the
based
rap
on the juror
money
questions,
went
Mr.
to the
Singh?
gang. Keefe wants that question asked.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. You are excused.
He didn't ask it.
Last witness for the day.
Keefe with the note.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our last witness for today. We are going to recess for the evening. During this recess, you are admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial of any person connected with this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, internet, and radio, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected with the trial until the case is submitted to you. We'll see you guys back here at 1 p.m. For further presentation of evidence. Please rise to the jury.
That was funny. If you guys missed it, I'll show you again in just a second what how that went down. So Keefe has a note that he gives to his lawyer. This is on replay real quick. It's a replay right here. Audio's live, but this is a replay on. He takes the note and he's like, thump, sticks it down in front of him. The lawyer looks at it.
Exited the room. Anything we need to address outside the presence?
No question.
Well, one thing.
Back to life.
Asked if we could admit the entire 180-page return from the search warrant. We had no objection to that, and so we will bring a clean copy for Mr. Singham to put in tomorrow. Also, we still need to correct the 2017, the 717 transcript and audio. I'll have that brought forward tomorrow.
What exhibit will the return be?
I have no idea.
Will it be a defense or state?
It's the defense.
Defense next in line, so that would be WW. Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Another great day in the KPD trial. That's good stuff. Good stuff. A little bit of evidence. I think the big evidence that came out today was in the search of the home that had the Camaro, right? The black Camaro. They found some paperwork, and it was like a budget for a production, an episodic production that basically they said this was Keefe's, and they found that thing that said Keefe with a Kiethy or something like that on the robe with the south side on the back and everything. And so they're saying it was his house, and in that house they found this receipt that says you owe the casino some money for time spent there, but it doesn't say who it's to. They're just saying that's the proof, because, well, I don't know. Keithy, Keithy. Yeah. Somebody, maybe the person that was asking for the shirt to be made had a lisp, and they couldn't pronounce Keithy right or Keithy right. And sometimes you have the same problem when you try to get your cake decorated at a cheap cake place as well. All right, keeping an ear to the ground. There was something going on in Indiana with an inmate that was shackled and escaped while shackled. I'm hoping it wasn't a foot pursuit, because I think he's still out there. But just keeping an ear to the ground. Got scanners going in case we want to pick this up, but we'll see. I don't know where it's at, but yeah, it's embarrassing. It's this is in northwest Indiana, by the way, up by I-94 in the Dunes area. So he's in federal custody, or he was in federal custody. Escaping on the loose is happening more and more. Yeah, it's terrible. Okay, we'll turn the mic off for a bit. All right, that's it for today. Was that aimed at us? What was aimed at you? Troy, I've been good today, and Amber knows this. I've built links for y'all. I've done shortcuts, and then you reward me by telling me I need a shock chair. What did I miss? What did I miss? He was in federal custody. But see, that's the key word. Was is the operative word. He no longer is, but he's about to get hunted by marshals. I don't know if he's still shackled. He better have a weapon if they kill him. Let's put it that way. He better have a weapon. The optics of that look really bad. Even if you escape on the run, shooting someone that's running away, I realize that prisons are allowed to do that. They're allowed to shoot inmates that are trying to escape. But the cake comment? No, never. I wouldn't. Yeah. What scanner app to use? I'm a big fan of Broadcastify. There's a couple different apps, but they all pretty much get it from the same place. Broadcastify is great. And then you've also got the, what's that one we used for Cavalcante? Open Megahertz, Open MGH, Open MHZ, Open MGHZ, something like that. That's a good one for keeping track of security, like police stuff, discussions and all. All right, that does it for me today. What time are they starting tomorrow? Did they say 1 o'clock? Somebody needs to let me know. I need some people to do some homework because I can't find it. I show it should start at 9 o'clock tomorrow, but there sounds to be a little schedule change that happened right after lunch. Yeah, Ivan, but who among us hasn't run from the feds, right? Who among us has not? Let he who has not run from the feds cast the first stone. All right. Hopefully not too many of us. That's all. Tonight, when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again tomorrow. Trying out the Citizen app first. Oh, man. I have that on my phone. It's a money grab. They tease you with, like, information you want, and you have to pay for it. Troy, if it's worth it, let me know. I might pay for it. But it's all good. All right. We'll see you. Let me go find a stone. I'm going to need a lot of rocks. Because I'm good here. I'm excited. We got a little bit of an evening out. It's late for a normal day, but it's early for a Keefe trial day. So, Ivan, if I feel attacked, no, Ivan, you're good. You're good. It was a funny. No harm, no foul. Didn't mean anything by it. Thank you, mods. It was wonderful. Citizen absolutely worth it. I'll give it a try. You guys, we'll see you. Be good. Hit my burner phone if you need something. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Take it on